everyone. If I can have everybody's attention, please, I would really appreciate it. There you go. Good evening, everyone. I'm not liking that one. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, much better. Good evening. Peace be upon you. My name is Rasheed Alnozili. I'm a member of the Yemeni American news family, and would like to thank you for deciding to spend this great Friday evening with us to celebrate 10 years of existence for the Yemeni American News. I said the Yemeni American News family because this media outlet is family to me. I've been a member since 2008 as first a designer and then a contributing writer and a reporter, and it has been a great ride. The Yemeni American News success can't be attributed to one person, but truth to be told, the dynamo behind this amazing project is Mr. Rasheed Alnozili, who tirelessly has made this project a huge success. With all the setbacks and all the hurdles that we've had over the past 10 years, Rasheed and the team has always found a way out and always making improvements year after another. The Yemeni American News is not just an ordinary ethnic newspaper or media outlet. It's a visionary project aimed to uplift our community through authentic and real journalism, telling the real stories of Yemeni Americans as it should be told without distortion or alteration. An unbiased media outlet that gives each side the chance to present their side. And that was evident from the elections coverage that we had at the newspaper, where everybody, all the candidates that we're running in our community had their fair share in exclusive coverage. With me today is my co-MC, Layali Asada, who is an expressionist, a creator of the Yemeni Project. She is the Washtenaw County Domestic Violence Outreach Coordinator and Counselor. And congratulations, Layali. She will be graduating with a master's degree from the University of Chicago soon in social work. Layali will be introducing our first speaker of the night.
Thank you. So it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Mr. O'Reilly, the Mayor of City of Dearborn. Mr. O'Reilly is a public servant and currently the Mayor of City of Dearborn. He was last re-elected in November of 2017 and has served as President of the City Council for 17 years. Mr. O'Reilly is a dynamic leader who has led Dearborn to become the prosperous city of Southeast Michigan that it is today. Please join me in welcoming Mayor O'Reilly.
To be here for this great event when you look at 10 years. And it's meant so much because if you try to imagine if it hadn't been created, if these wonderful, talented people had not stepped up and there was no any way to get this kind of information and get this honest appraisal of what's going on, it would be a different community. So we owe a lot to the fact that they had the vision and the dedication to make sure that the truth did get out, that there was a venue for everyone to have, to make the case, to help inform people, to help people understand when they were getting information that is simply not true, because that happens way too often around our community, and this has been a blessing to everyone because it's been a fair and very well-developed place to get information, to understand what's really going on. And so myself and the City Council, so this includes the entire City Council, are recognizing this milestone of 10 years and saying thank you for everything you've done for our community, and we and your wonderful staff, we want to say please keep it up. Do more. Anything we can do to support you, we're going to do that because we know that this asset is something that we just can't go without. So please come up.
all the way from Chicago, one of our family members, Mr. Kip Kozad. Mr. Kip Kozad served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Badan, Yemen, from 1988 to 1990, where he taught English as a second language in the Shaheed Duais School in Uzla, Yemen. Mr. Kozad holds a master's degree in history, focusing on Yemeni migration from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and also as a professor of history at Moraine Valley Community College outside Chicago. Mr. Kozad has written on many issues as everyday life in Yemen and the success of Ali Muhammad, the first Yemeni American state speech champion in Illinois this year, for the Yemeni American News, and has written many articles. Please welcome with me Mr. Kip Kozad.
Good evening, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here. I kind of consider Dearborn as kind of my second home, and whenever I'm amongst as many Yemenis as I am right now, I feel like, I'm back in my village 30 years ago in Badan. Anybody here from Badan? Anybody? Badanis, my brothers. It's good to see you all. Yeah, that was it was an amazing experience, and I have to tell you a little story. When I came to Dearborn for the very first time, this was 20 years after I had served in the Peace Corps, and you'll see a little bit on the video that when I met Rasheed. But they took me to a Yemeni restaurant, and all my Yemenis will understand this, that when I went to this restaurant, they brought out the silta, right? They brought out the lahma, and of course they brought out the asit. And so when they brought out the asit, I sat down and I was with Wally and Abdul Hakim and a couple other of my really close friends now. He brought the asit out. And I hadn't had a seat in 20 years. I was like, oh my God. And so, just going classic Gabili, right? I reached in there with my two fingers and had a seat. And I looked over at Wally, and they're all picking up spoons. And so, it just kind of shows you how Yemen changed me and America changed you. Yemen is an amazing place, and anybody who's ever been there, and especially those that had lived there, come from there, know that the magic is really determined or kind of defined by its ancient origins and its modern history of movement. We all see Yemen's crisis today, and we grieve. Whenever I watch the news and they have stories about Yemen and all the things that are going on, I kind of have this conflict of the Yemen that I knew 30 years ago and what's going there, and it's so painful for me now. But all of us know how good Yemen could be at its best, especially those who were born and raised there during times that are not like the current. But what better way to express the greatness and that pain than through the medium of print? What better way to celebrate tonight that engine of information that began through the vision of Rasheed Alnozili, my personal friend. I would not be here tonight without him. He really helped me in so many ways. And as you'll see in the video, I was trying to reach out to someone who could kind of help me with my thesis. I knew I wanted to do it on Yemen. Wasn't really quite sure how, but Rasheed was there. But everybody in this room, if you know Rasheed, it always comes with some kind of attachment, right? Rasheed's just not going to say, okay, look, it's always, you do this, and I'll do this for you. But usually it's like, you have to give up your firstborn child with Rasheed. He's always asking for something. But he helped me write that paper, and I have to say that I got the better end of that paper. It's such a pleasure to write for the Yemeni American News over these years. Some of the other people that were very influential that are in this room, and this is just a few. I know that I've met a lot of people, but obviously Rasheed, Adil, who was right here, Wally, who's been kind of my constant companion every time I come into Dearborn, Abdul Hakim, who is just a close dear friend, Ali Kirsch, and there are so many. And all of these people, and along with yourselves, gave me the support within the Yemeni community to be able to achieve a lot of my goals, and I'm so thankful for all of you. Let me turn to politics a little bit. I know it's a little bit painful, but something that I, maybe coming from the outside, coming from Chicago and having lived in both places, this Muslim ban that's been going on is just absolutely atrocious. And whenever I saw, when I first heard about it and I saw all the people protesting, it just brought me so much pain, because knowing the Yemeni community so well, I can't think of a community less deserving of that. I mean, truly. The ignorance that's carried out under that ban is just, completely, it's just so painful. To make matters worse, I have Yemeni nationals at my college who, because of the war, were stuck here. One of them that I know, his father passed away since he's been here. And they have racked up all kinds of debt because they could no longer get the funding in school that they'd had before. And now they can't get their transcripts. And this is just one of the byproducts, that kind of the quiet byproducts that we hear, that we know that's going on because of the conflict. Let me return to the Yemeni American news. And I remember when I first came in contact with Rasheed, it was nothing more than a few pages of a paper, and online it was not much more than a blog. And now that you look how far that paper has come in the 10 years is absolutely remarkable. And I want to commend Rasheed, Adil, the whole team that works on that. And I know that Rasheed has brought on a lot of new people that have made this paper a very, very professional one. I know the Yemeni American community is going through some exceptional challenges, economic challenges, obviously the war in the ancestral homeland, a resurgent in the north-south split. In fact, kind of a story I'll share, the community where I am in Chicago, most of them are from Jaffa. And whenever they come into my room and I tell them that I served near Ib, they say, "Oh, you're a Dahabashi," right? So that kind of shows you, what I go through. And I know that a lot of people in here go through. And I know that the mobility in the community is extremely dynamic. A significant portion of the population that was born and raised in America are more American than Yemen now. And that's something that, when you look in years past, most Yemenis were native born, but now we're seeing second and third generation Yemenis here in the community. And their experience is a lot different, being born here, raised here. The Yemeni American News covers all of these issues and presents a platform for the community and others who are interested in Yemen and the Yemeni diaspora, giving a window of what is happening. As a historian, I think of the paper as, it's going to be a future resource to see what the community is going through during this particular time, really the last 10 years. Historians rely on newspapers like that to gain an insight many years after the fact. And I know that I'm going to be, it'll obviously be very helpful for me. The Yemeni American News presents authentic stories and the accomplishments of the community. Like Adil mentioned when he introduced me, I was able to meet a young man, 18, who was going through significant hardships, who won the state championship in speech in the state of Illinois. Yemeni American, just an amazing story. His journey to that point was hard, it was deserved, but it was very American. And he was born and raised here in the United States. Too often, non-Arab Americans have little contact with Arab communities, so they don't understand the community through contact, which is a true shame. I have always felt I carry an extra burden to share my understanding of Yemen and the Yemeni American community to people that have no contact with it, because I've had the honor of living in Yemen and having friends like you that tell me what's going on in the community, and to have a resource like the Yemeni American News that lets me kind of keep abreast of what's going on as far away as Chicago. And so it's just a wonderful place to be. But this should be the task of all of us. This paper gives the community a voice, but it's us that needs to drive the change in the world, show by example, educate, and most of all, vote. It's so important, maybe even more important now than ever. Finally, I would like to mention that the Yemeni American News is a treasure. It is truly a treasure. The passion, vision, and energy that Rasheed and his team has put into the endeavor is so heartening. For all those involved over the years, I congratulate you. And here is to the next 10 years. Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you so much. And as my father and Ammu, while they were in the store, I'm a little disappointed about the spoon thing. So just wanted to say that to you guys. So the Yemeni American News on its 10th anniversary want to recognize two individuals who have supported the newspaper in many different ways using their own creative outlets. They have led the legacy for many that have to follow. And that first awardee is Stephen Coates, born in Portland, Oregon, and at the age of 4 moved to Sana'a, where he spent 5 of his formative years sharing the sights and sounds of Yemen's culture and heritage. He moved back to the U.S. in 1981, where he lived in a small agriculture community of Idaho, until his graduation from high school in 1990. And during his high school years, his interest in story, filmmaking, and media was cultivated. He enrolled in Biola University and graduated in 1994 with a Bachelor's of Arts, Communications, and with an emphasis on radio, TV, and film. For the past 27 years, Stephen has pursued his passion for story through visual and audio mediums, cultural language, and spirituality in a variety of media productions. Those productions include production assistant at Warner Brothers Television, production assistant at Craig Anderson Productions, and development executive at KG Productions. Stephen currently serves as a director of Sabine Media, as well as international media consultant with SIL International. Stephen is also a husband and father of 3 children and currently resides in Dearborn, Michigan. We are honored to recognize him for his valuable contributions to the Yemeni American News Project. Unfortunately, he will be leaving us for new endeavors in his life and will be truly missed, although he has promised to stay a part of the Yemeni American News family. So now, if I could have Ammu Rasheed and the rest of the team join us on stage to present the awardee.
Actually, Stephen hasn't arrived, so we're hoping that he will join us this evening. So I'll go ahead and present the second awardee, and hopefully Stephen will be able to join us today. If not, we will be also awarding him, even though he is absent. The second awardee for this year is Chef Muhammad Hassan, known as Abu Sinan. Abu Sinan started his career in the U.S. with humble beginnings at bussing tables, a job practiced by many new immigrants to the U.S. And initially, considering when they arrived to the U.S., they lacked the educational qualifications and linguistic skills. But what distinguishes the story of Abu Sinan that he developed his business and culinary skills and became one of the most famous chefs or Mediterranean chefs in Michigan. As his career has developed, and also known as the owner and partner of chain of restaurants in the States such as Malik Kebab, Anoras, La Palma, and Royal Kebab, he now operates more than 5 restaurants as a partner and has more than 90 employees in Metro Detroit. Let's get our attention to the screen as we watch a small clip of Abu Sinan produced by the Yemeni American News, and then we will come back to award him. So we'll watch the screen. If I can get the lights, Matthew. Thank you.
والله أنا هذا المكان يعني أنا كنت أفكر فيه يعني وعاد أنا كنت أشتغل في.
The idea came when he used to walk from his house to the bus stop to go to his work. He used to walk through Wyoming, and every time he walks by this location, he always dreamed about this place to be one of his dreamed restaurants in the future. In 2008, the place was closed down for almost a couple of years. Then, and 2 years later, new management came in with the new owners. And Muhammad used to come here and drink some coffee with the new owner and always trying to get the place. So the owner said, you know, yes, he wants to sell it. Back then, the place used to be a truck stop, and the owner of the place was trying to sell it. It wasn't good business back then for him. You know, about 3 years after the new management came abroad, Muhammad got a deal, and he bought this place. A lot of people approach Abu Sunan, you know, when he started building this place, and asking questions. Are you crazy? Are you building this big business, you know, this business here with, you know, with the new building and in the community in Dick's area? How are you gonna make your money back? And Muhammad always replied with big, you know, passion, you know, always. He gets the idea in his mind that he's gonna get his money back. He needs to do something for the community, no matter what. He wants to pay back the community by investing, you know, with his limited sources, you know, in the community. He wants to put a nice place, nice dine-in for the community. So you don't have to travel away to have a nice dinner while he get, you know, delicious food and he could put it in the Dick's area. And I think his dream comes true.
I work at Salina Elementary. When I drive by, I smell the aroma, the smell of the food. It smells so delicious. And I tried it. It's the best food, especially their sandwiches, chicken debone, and the portions are very generous, tender, tasty. You can resist to eat every day.
I noticed a special business to his heart. I think it's one of his you know, dream to expand this place and have different locations, especially that he serves Yemeni food and with his menu.
This is a beautiful place to come and take dinner home or eat in before we go home. Teachers work long, extensive hours, and knowing that we can get healthy, delicious Yemeni food, it's such a pleasure to come in here. Everyone's always so friendly and accommodating. If you don't know about a dish, they'll give you additional information. I've never had anything that wasn't delicious.
I believe, you know, the Yemeni food, it's a unique cuisine. It has its own flavor, its own delicious taste, and special when Chef Abu Sunan prepared his food. When he prepared the food, he prepared the food with a passion, with generosity. When he provide the food to the customer, you believe like you are in his house, not in his restaurant. You believe you get the idea that like he's not doing business. He's invited you to his house.
The Yemeni American News recognizes Mr. Abu Sunan for his unwavering support and continuous giving back to the community. And if we can have the team of the Yemeni Americans come and take a photo with Abu Sunan, please. Rasheed?
السلام عليكم. أحب أن أشكر صحيفة اليمن الأمريكي ممثلة برئيسة تحريرها الأستاذ رشيد النزيلي لتكريمهما لي. إن هذا النجاح الذي وصلنا له لم يتم إلا بمساعدة روح الفريق. وبهذه المناسبة أود أن أشكر كل من ساعدني وعمل بجد معي، وخاصة بالذكر أشكر شريكي الفاضل علي مظفر عبيد المعروف بأبو فهد، وكمان أشكر أخي العزيز جمال ملهي، وكل شخص ساهم في بناء هذا النجاح. وشكرا للجميع والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Just a quick translation for Abu Sinan's remarks. He thanks the Yemeni American News for this award, and he thanks his partners and his team that has showed the sense of teamwork in his business, and he values this so much. Recognizing some elected officials who have joined us today, as well as dignitaries and candidates who are running for public office. We have Representative, you can hold the applause till then, please. Representative Sylvia Santana, State Representative and candidate for State Senate, District 3. Representative Abdullah Hamoud, State Senate, State Representative. Chairman Gary Warnchek, Wayne County Commission, and also candidate for the State Senate, District 3, Mayor Jack O'Reilly, Honorable Gene Hunt, Judge of the 19th District Court, Mr. Kevin Hurt, from Senator Gary Pierce's office, Councilman Fadl Al-Marsumi from the City of Hamtramck City Council, Chief Ronald Haddad from Dearborn Police, Mr. Thomas Nishai, Hamtramck Public Schools Superintendent, as well as Mr. Murtada Awaid, Hamtramck Public Schools School Board, Mr. Russ Kavalhuna, new president of Henry Ford College, Miss Cynthia, Dr. Cynthia, and Rob Glass from Henry Ford College as well, Mr. Asad Turfi, Chief of Staff at Wayne County, Mr. Sam Beydoun, candidate for Wayne County Commission, Mr. Brian Stone, also candidate for Wayne County Commission, Ms. Aman Fidama, candidate for Dearborn School Board, Ms. Cindy Perelli, candidate also for School Board. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. If I have, we will mention them after our second segment. Right now we will, Stephen is not here yet, no? Okay, that's unfortunate. But we do have some guests who are actually recognizing the Yemeni American News with some citations. So we will have them present us to the Yemeni American News. We'll start with Mr. Kevin Hurt.
Well, I will certainly be brief here today. I can't possibly identify with Kip's comments any more than he said it all right there. And he named all sorts of great people that I've gotten to know over the last few years. It has truly been, my name's Kevin Hurt, and I'm regional director for Senator Gary Peters. And I have to say, over the last few years, it has legitimately been an honor and a privilege to get to know everybody in this community, to break bread so many times at so many wonderful restaurants. But we're in serious times right now. And that is why these relationships are so important. But it is also why it is so important that we have a free and fair press. And so really we just owe a round of applause to Rasheed and his whole team for doing this work, telling the truth, and getting out there. We have significant and serious challenges. We have an administration who has engaged in some of the most un-American behavior that I've ever seen in my lifetime. We won't stand for it. We'll never stand for it. We need to fight back, but right now we need to stand together and speak with one voice, and this community is doing that. And Rasheed, thank you for leading the way. So on behalf of Senator Peters, I would like to present you with this tribute. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir.
Tell the truth, my friend.
Our Congresswoman Debbie Dingell just joined us, so thank you so much for recognize the Yemeni American News on this 10th anniversary, so please welcome to that.
It's just wonderful to be with everybody. I can actually remember 10 years ago when we celebrated the beginning of this publication and the importance to this community. I think I was very proud to talk about this on the floor of the House of Representatives. So I do have a congressional resolution to present you. But I do think it's important as we gather here tonight that, here you go. I'm sorry. You know, we're living in very strange times. People are trying to divide us, to pit us against each other, and the freedom of the press has never, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of the press have never been more important. And I never thought that at this point in my life, and I'm not old, but I'm seasoned, that we would be fighting for all of these fundamental pillars of the Constitution. So what you're all doing in celebrating the anniversary of the Yemeni News, but more importantly, what we do when we come together as community, we must always stay together as community and never let anybody divide us. Congratulations to everybody who's been part of this decade, but more importantly, it's really wonderful to be part of this community. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. We also have Mr. Gary Warrenchuk. He's here. He's also.
Very efficient staff that tapes things up very strong, so I can take a while to rip it open there. Rasheed, dear friend, how are you? Congratulations on this wonderful evening. This is the man who has introduced me to Salta, so I will owe him forever. I spent a good part of my life as a journalist in this town before entering public service, so I'm especially aware of the importance of journalism in a community and how threatened that is today. So, and I also know that this is a very unique arrangement that we have, something so vital to our democracy. It is also a business. So it's so difficult to make ends meet and have a business model that survives with today's technology. But somehow Rasheed and the Yemeni American News has done that. And for that, I'm grateful, and I wish you many more years. And I brought you a resolution from the Wayne County Commission, and wish you many more years. Good success.
We also have our own representative, Sylvia Santana, who wants to also recognize the Yemeni American News. Welcome.
Thank you so much. This is a beautiful occasion, 10 years of the Yemeni American News providing great information to our communities and throughout. I just want to say I met Rasheed 2 years ago when we sat down and broke bread together, and he told me, you know what, you're my state representative. And that conversation was long and very generous, because we talked about the sense of community and how important it is to make sure that we continue to have a community of understanding and making sure that people are good neighbors and that they continue to grow together and take care of our immediate existence. And I think that is so important, because all politics are local. And I had the opportunity to spend some time in a community in the South End of Dearborn, where I met so many great people. And it just speaks to the connections of our country, that despite all the negativity that we see at the national level, that is festering in our communities. We need to continue to make sure that there's understanding for all of us, and just making sure that we understand who we are as individuals and the spirit of this country, and how this is a country that has resolve, and that we can continue to go beyond this negativity that we see at the national level. But I just want to say thank you so much for what you do, putting information out in the community, because information is powerful, and we want positive information in our communities. And so I would like to say thank you for 10 years of all the hard work and dedication that you've put forth to make sure that information is provided to the community. But I'm looking forward to the years to come and all the great things that the Yemeni American News will do for our communities, and how you will grow as a business. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Representative Santana. Now we have from the Wayne County Executive's Office, Ms. Zainab Hussain, to present also an award to the Yemeni Americans.
Good evening. So I could touch on the importance of journalism, right? And the importance of having factual evidence and the way it's delivered. So I think everyone's touched on that. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about my personal relationship with Rasheed. Kind of reminds me of the food that we were just seeing, this amazing Yemeni food. And one thing that I drew out of the documentary was that the Yemeni food has its own flavor, right? And it gives you this, it's got its own feeling when you sit down and you kind of consume it. And that's kind of what I feel with the Yemeni American News. It has its own flavor. It brings a different perspective on the same old that you see all around in all the different papers. And it's genuine. And it's all about educating. It's the people who are reading its paper. I'm so amazed by how developed it has got, how much it's developed over time. My favorite parts are the interaction on via social media. Has anybody caught Rasheed's one-on-one interviews with candidates?
All of them.
All of them? I mean, to me, it's amazing. Just that candid, back and forth conversation, giving his users, his readers, another opportunity to kind of figure out what they want, what they believe. Not shoving it down their throats, but asking the right questions. And I think that's what I appreciate the most. And Rasheed, thank you so much for being such a great friend to the county executive and to Wayne County. I would be remiss for not saying that the CEO is very upset he was not able here to give this to you himself. And our communications director, who has become, I think, best friends with Rasheed, because he's texted me at least 5 times since I've been here. Make sure you take a picture with Rasheed. Tell him I'm sorry I couldn't be here. Tell him I say hello. I'm like, okay, him now. Okay, I will make sure to tell him. So Rasheed, on behalf of the Wayne County Executive, thank you so much. And for his wonderful team, for being so great and honest and delivering the best that you have to this community. And like the Yemeni food, thank you for keeping a wonderful flavor and taste in our mouths, in our stomach, and in our minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. And thank you, everyone. The success of the Yemeni American News would not have been possible without the support of the Yemeni American News sponsors and the team members. The team would like to thank Anota's restaurant for providing the food today. Our own Dearborn's Jewel, the Arab American National Museum, for hosting us. Ms. Kim Sorosky and also Matthew Stifler, thank you so much for the support. And also the volunteers who have helped us today, especially Mr. Ahmed Al-Ward and Ms. Aya Abaya, and thank you so much. And the photographers, Abbas Shihab and Bill Chapman, thank you so much again for your help today. So we came to the closing remarks. Now we're gonna head downstairs because we have a treat for you. Obviously, it's the video presentation, a documentary that we've been working on for a few months right now to show you. So with that, please, if you haven't had any food, grab some on your way, but you cannot take food downstairs. So the museum has asked us not to. But if we can have everybody go downstairs. Free cake? Say that from the beginning. Okay, there is cake too. I wasn't told, but thank you everyone, and please join us downstairs for the production that was produced by the Yemeni American News, and also Stephen Coates. So thank you, and thank you for that.
Excuse me, one more quick announcement. Rasheed's too humble to mention this, but if you have a chance, please go upstairs in the Living in America gallery. Kim over here will lead you there. This week we installed an exhibit about a plaque honoring the Yemeni American News and Rasheed, and it's going to be a permanent feature in the museum, so I'd like you to go up and see that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm fast. See.
No, it's okay.
Zainab, you ever take a picture with your phone? Zainab, give me your phone.